Hey guys, this is Cher talking, and you may have seen this video before, but I did some edits to actually fix the information that I provided in the first version that was actually wrong. Well, I could not explain Emelia skill number 3 in a right way, where she can actually give one passive to every single one of your character with 25% chances to heal. So you can actually heal more than once. And I also just added more information about Rocbouquet when used on Saruin squad. So what's up guys, this is Cher talking, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be making a full review for the Remembrance Festival Rocbouquet banner made for Halloween, and it looks more like Easter. Yes, I'm seeing way too many bunnies in this banner. And we have Rocbouquet, that is a damage dealer. Then we have Emelia, that is a party supporter. And Cordelia, that is a defense booster. Well, Rocbouquet is the best one here. The other cards don't look so interesting, so let's start with Rocbouquet. Well, she is a mage hybrid and relies on having dual element staves, although you can use it with just one. I'll explain later. She has only 70% endurance, that's kind of bad. Could have been higher. Agility is only 99%, some mages have higher than that. Intelligence is 116, not as high as some other damage dealers, and will is at least 104% that will protect her versus ailments most of the time. She has good love and even better charisma. That's why she suffers a little in other departments. She's a balanced unit. Moving for passives, we have Encore Noir. When landing an attack, she always recovers HP. That will be higher than 250 when maxed because she has good love and charisma. Then when she attacks, she also changes all the time, either with normal attacks or with spells with Dark Bolt Shot. Dark Bolt Shot is a free skill that she has access to that is E-power only and has Shadow and Lightning damage. She is a Shadow and Lightning damage dealer that will only work when the enemies are weak to those two elements, much like Orlette. And then she still has a 50% to chase again with Empoio Noir. That's a spell that has triple S power, Shadow and Lightning as well, and it grants herself an attack boost that increases damage potential by 15%, lasts for 2 turns. But since this is cast after she attacks, it will only benefit the following attacks. Like if this chase is cast first, it will increase Dark Bolt Shot damage by a little. Not much, it's a weak attack anyway, but the next action will be benefit, especially if you use Empoio Noir as a command so that you keep stacking your attack boosts. Now, when the start of battle, she starts with 12 BP, and when attacking versus weak targets, she recovers 2 BP. That means that she needs to attack weak targets, like I said, and when she chases only once, she will get actually 7 BP per turn. Why? 3 BP by the end, 2 BP by your action, 2 BP by your guaranteed chase, and then if you chase again with Empoio Noir, you get 9 BP. That means that on average, she will likely get at least 8 BP per turn, if you think about it. I mean, considering a 50% chase triggering every 2 turns, that's not really something that always happens, but, well, you could say that. So, her skills don't seem too pricey anymore. She also reduces damage taken by 25% at all times and starts the fight casting heat up 5 times to get 50% increase in damage by turn 5. Skill number 1 is Dark Bolt Shot. We already talked about it. It's a weak attack, only E-power, but it does have Shadow and Lightning to cover these 2 elements. And the second skill, Empoio Noir, it's a triple S power single target attack with Shadow and Lightning. Like I said, it grants attack boost, this time by being used as your command. It's better because it can get to 20% attack boost, it will stack, and if you chase again with the second Empoio Noir and with Dark Bolt Shot, they will benefit from those attack boosts. Then we have Lightning Barrage, the third skill. It's Lightning and Shadow, but this time it's water based, so it requires having dual element to take full advantage, and can only be used once per battle because it's actually pretty nice. It grants a heat up that increases damage potential by 50% for the whole fight, and that gets her to a total of 100%. That's everything she has. I don't think that she has much damage reduction, only 25% with just 70% endurance. It's gonna hurt sometimes. And then she also grants herself Recharge. This skill is just double S power. It's even weaker than Empoio Noir, but since you are getting effects, it's nice. And it will also use all of your 12 BP. So you start with 12, you can use this on turn 1, right? But what is Darkness Bolt? This is something that we saw before in one style of Rouge. Well, this skill here is actually pretty nice. It just has low power, B, but it tries to debuff you by small effect, that will be only 10% because it's cats on rank 1, and will also buff intelligence, that will be decreased to only 15% because it's rank 1. It's just something free that is also Shadow and Lightning, so that your Rocbouquet can actually get 2 extra BP when attacking on Overdrive. So in those situations, if she triggers on Pollo Noir, she gets 11 BP. If she only chases with Dark Bolt Shot, she still gets 9. So you start the fight with Lightning Barrage, then you probably use Dark Bolt Shot, and then you just cycle on Pollo Noir, Dark Bolt Shot, on Pollo Noir, Dark Bolt Shot, and if you get extra BP, sometimes you can skip the need of using Dark Bolt Shot. So there is some good damage there if you stack some attack boosts after she used her Heat Up, and on Overdrive you get more damage. It's strong, but it's still not as strong as, well, Bertrand. Bertrand last style, it's actually pretty busted. He even has better defenses, at least for Endurance, not for Will. And he stacks better because he keeps getting attack boost, defense boost, and all status effects. And attack boost is not better than status boost. Status boost increases more, but can be cleansed. Although defense boost is something very nice because it cannot be removed from boss fights. So, if he stacks too much, he will be one of your characters that won't easily die. And he has a skill that attacks 2 times, and it's super strong. And has a better stability with damage. Bertrand can also be used as a counter. So, Rocbouquet does not beat Bertrand, and Bertrand can also be used versus neutral content. He does not need to be used versus Shadow and Lightning. Like I said, Rocbouquet is actually pretty similar to Orlette. Orlette needs to be used versus enemies weak to Pierce and Heat, and she even has a chase that is pretty similar. But one triggers on Overdrive, the other one triggers all the time, while Rocbouquet does seem to have a little more damage, but she does not offer utility to the party. Well, she is just there trying to do more damage, while Orlette gives defense down, and that will increase the damage of the whole party. Overall, this Rocbouquet is not that important, because we'll get stronger damage dealers, but there's something pretty interesting to talk about Rocbouquet. It is if you have her other style that is the latest. Let's just get to that one. It's this one here that got released on Anniversary. Well, you can see that she doesn't have very high endurance as well. The other status are similar. She even has higher agility, but there's something pretty important about this Rocbouquet. She has Gobby Hook Switch, that is just like Action Switch with a different name, and she still has Intrinsic, so she gets defense boost, she can evade, and she does receive very low damage. And you can actually inherit that skill into this one. Yes, that Lightning Barrage, so that she gets 50% damage increase in that recharge effect that she'll get 15 points of Overdrive Gauge, so that she gets into Overdrive faster, and will get another extra attack on Overdrive. It's nice because it's just like adding new passives to old styles that are actually nice, and this one is still better than the newest Rock, I can assure you, because of that skill called Lightning of Darkness. That is a single target attack with Shadow and Lightning that applies attack down that decreases damage by 15%, and that's why she's faster. She needs to apply this before the enemy attack, or you will not benefit from it. And after that, she will debuff all status from an enemy by 15%. This Rocbouquet is a good competitor to Esper Gal Halloween style, that was amazing, still is, because she has something similar. An APP skill that will debuff all status, but instead of applying attack down, she removes buffs from targets, and this has been super important in the current attack events. So with this new inheritance, you can make the old Rocbouquet much better. She will even get BP by attacking, remember? She gets attack boost, defense boost, 2 BP, and even recovers when she hits an enemy by using 2 elemental attacks. And if she attacks a weak target, she gets even another extra BP, for a total of 3 BP on Overdrive, and she'll get into Overdrive faster because of that 15 points, and it's good to use her on Overdrive even if she's alone, if you really want to use your Lightning of Darkness to guarantee that she will attack before an enemy. This is nice in some attacks events where bosses will change forms, so that you can guarantee entering a new form by debuffing the enemy. So, well, I don't think it's totally needed to have that inheritance into this Rocbouquet. She will still be useful, I'm sure, but you are just making it better. And now, If the enemy is weak to Shadow and Lightning, you can do reverse. You can actually get your Lightning of Darkness and send it to the current Rocbouquet. She will do more damage. She will get lots of BP. You will be using an 8 BP skill instead of a 10 BP one. She will always be able to use Lightning of Darkness, although past Rocbouquet can actually use it almost all the time as well. And then she becomes a debuffer, a much better utility character, in my opinion, than just keep doing damage and debuffing the enemies and being able to chase. Now, Rocbouquet can actually work even better if you have her on Saruin squad. Remember, Saruin can give her 50% damage increase for all shadow spells. All of them have shadow attribute, and he will also give +1 BP generation. This kind of helps her a lot because if you are using her on a content that is not weak to shadow or lightning, she would not get extra BP, but she starts to get because of Saruin. So she becomes a 4 BP per turn character. With 4 BP per turn and a guaranteed chase, you actually can cycle perfectly Empoil Noir and Dark Bolt Shot even when the enemies are not weak to Shadow and Lightning. Remember that her chase attack is a guarantee, and then we have Empoil Noir on 50%. So this kind of fixed the character, but I don't know if she will be so strong when using on neutral content. I still think that Bertrand is better, especially because Bertrand has defense capabilities. He boosts his defense and he boosts all of his status depending on the skills that he is using. So in my opinion, he's still the definitive shadow damage dealer. But Rocbouquet also has other ways to be used. If you are using her on Saruin squad, there's something that I need to discuss. Well, there's a skill called Cycle Boom that comes from her global access style. That's actually pretty nice when you consider that it opens with C power and then it uses a skill with double S power. This will feel in line like a 4S power attack, but it's just shadow. If you are fighting versus an enemy that is weak to shadow and you have Saruin in the squad, well, each hit will recover 3 BP. And on overdrive, she's gonna use Cycle Boom for 2 hits, then she's gonna get the guaranteed Dark Bolt Shot chase, then she's gonna get that Darkness Bolt chase, and she still has a 50% chance to chase again with Empoil Noir. In that case, 5 hits, you get 15 BP back. That allows her to just keep using Cycle Boom. Well, she always recovers 12, and then she keeps being capable of debuffing the enemy's intelligence. Well, this is AoE, so there's some utility here. And she will debuff intelligence again with Euthanize. The total intelligence debuffed is 35, so there's some utility if you have her global access style. And, well, I believe that you can even use Blooming Fireworks. If the enemies are weak to heat, you can just constantly use this skill, especially on Saruin squad, so she's gonna recover actually 6 BP per turn, and she can cycle her free skill and Blooming Fireworks. But in the end, I do believe that you get more by either using Cycle Boom for enemies that are just weak to shadow, or just sticking to her main gameplay of using Empoil Noir and Dark Bolt Shot. She does have good damage for neutral, but she will still be more useful when the enemies are weak to either shadow or lightning. As for other inheritances, I believe that Dark Wash Plus is nice because it will remove buffs from target, but it's 10 BP. Since she does get lots of BP if the enemy is weak to shadow, you can actually use this. Now there is also other inheritance like Graceful Cup if you want her to be a healer. That's nice, but it uses LP, can be dangerous. So, 2 ways to use Rocbouquet. One more offensive with less sustain, but bigger damage. Other one more defensive, using the past version with inheritance, and even if it's defensive, it will do more damage now. Okay, so this Rocbouquet is nice and all, but she does not beat the past one. She's more of a damage dealer. I don't think she beats Bertrand like I said, but she comes pretty close. Hence why I believe that she deserves a triple S grade in the tier list. Much better than Ray in my opinion, and Ray is still strong, just hard to use. So Rocbouquet deserves this grade, and it's the best character of the bunch. But is she required? No, totally no, and if you already have the past Rocbouquet and you're happy with her, you can just stay with that one, and you'll get stronger damage dealers in the future if you really want to skip. Well, JP has a new version of Rocbouquet released recently that's using rapiers now. She has a skill that can debuff STR, Intelligence, and also applies Moralidade Medium. Well, it's pretty strong, and she also has Guardal Medium, not that great, but she has this crazy passive where you get attack boost when attacking enemies, and she also buffs STR Dexterity in Intelligence by 20% up to 3 times per turn, depending on the number of attacks you characters have. She also has Chase attacks, so a pretty interesting character with good damage and passive ways to buff status. The next character is Emelia, and she's back on being a gunner, and she actually is a mage with access to sun spells. Well, she has 119% intelligence, that's pretty high, 90% agility, and still has 110% dexterity for inheritance, but none of her skills will use dexterity. And endurance is 80% with will 95. Well, she doesn't suffer too much by being a hybrid, but forget about inheriting Pink Tiger skills because they would do very low damage, but you can still inherit from her OG style if you want some skills, but I would suggest not doing so. Now moving on for passives, we have Magical Dealer that increases damage for all allies by 10% and reduces damage taken by 10% as well, but does not rely on everyone being alive, but it's inferior to Scroungguard, for example. And now there's a second part on the passive. On the start of a turn, if her HP is full, she will grant all surviving allies an attack boost of a large effect and a defense boost of medium effect. Both have 15% value, that's right, even though it says different names. And also buff all surviving allies 5% status. Well, lock it into full HP is kinda hard because it depends on boss behavior, but at least it's on the start of a turn, does not require her to attack because her agility is not that great, right? And if her HP is not full, she will not have a guarantee to apply these effects. Only a 37% chance to apply all of these effects. That's totally bad. She will not be on full HP all the time. She wants to rely on sort of gimmick that is just too RNG for my tastes. Passive number 2, Voltage Force 2, the same one as Medea. Gets 20% heat ups by 5 times, so 100% damage increase by turn 5, and she also gets 2 BP by the end of a turn. The third one is Intrinsic Gun 4. Reduces damage taken by 40% when resisting, has 37% chance to evade when resisting, and increases damage potential by 20. So she has a total of 120%. Decreases damage taken by 10% for the whole party, and sometimes extra 15. But not reliable. Skill 1 is a spell, and you need a gun with Sun Element. It has 2 BP cost and will attack 2 times. It's actually pretty powerful. You get something similar to an 8 power attack by just 2 BP, but it's random, so if there's more than one target, it's kind of hard to use. The second one, Wild Shuffle, a single target attack with triple S power that will recover the user HP by medium effect. That would be around 1,500 healing. It's nice to try to keep her HP full, but if she attacks before the enemy, she will still take damage. In the next turn, she will not be on full HP. In order for this to make sense, the skill itself would have to have delay. That's right. You can still place her on the back row of a rearguard focus formation. Why so? That would work better because on the start of the next turn, even if she attacks later, the passive triggers on start, right? Then the third one, it's Brilliant Bunny Show. It's support and fast, and will enter evasive stance for 1 turn only, and she will grant all surviving allies Healing Favor. Healing Favor is a passive where you get a 25% chance in the end of a turn to recover very small effect. This type of healing doesn't look too good, because why would you want very small healings? Well, there are things that we need to consider. This will cast this passive on every single one of your 5 characters. That means that on the end of a turn, both Emelia and all other 4 characters will have 25% chance to trigger the very small heal effect. That can trigger 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 times. Well, you could say that on average you get at least 1 trigger. Remember, 25%, 5 chances. And I don't think this is good enough for global. I don't think. JP had to rely on lots of RNG characters for heals because they never had a character that was so easy to use with constant healing. Most of them had some limitations, either via LP, via number of usages, and she was actually useful for them up to they had Wagner's, because she was actually released before Wagner's in JP timeline. The Wagner's was more useful because you could just get people into overdrive and heal a lot of times, especially multi-hit attackers. But Emelia does work, but I think you should look on her as her whole kit. When you see that you are applying the defense boost and you have minus 10% damage reduction, the problem is that you still need to be on full HP to guarantee your defense boost, so that she actually has a little bit of everything. But she offers more for people that want to bring support for Remembrance. Some of the only supports we had for gun were the first original Zeke with Scroomguard, then we got Cindy that can heal with a chance as well, and she can buff dexterity, gun damage, and morale up. She's risky, but she increases damage potential even further. And now we have Talon, now we have Emelia, and we also have Professor, and we also have Bunny. Well, all these characters offer some type of support, but I should not recommend summoning for Emelia when thinking about real hard challenges. Even if you see people using her for some real challenges, I think it just requires more RNG, more retries in order to use her heal. And if you already have Death, for example, forget about Emelia. And since she can still inherit dexterity based skills, if you have her latest style that's based on Overdrive, this one here, you can actually just inherit this Drive Energy Shot, because she has a 5 EP generation, so she can use this every 2 turns. But still, not something that important, and Overdrive mechanics will evolve in the future and will be much different. And if you have her Perfector style on Remembrance, you can actually inherit Sweet Hit. That's a double S power attack with 9 BP cost that will recover all surviving allies HP by around 220 and remove all ailments as well. Now, anything else doesn't matter too much in my opinion, because the inheritance don't make much sense. You could use her as a debuffer, like Submission Plus debuffs STR by 20% if you really desperately need something like that, or Bow Thrower. Bow Thrower is just one and done, because 11 BP is too much. But there's Electric Pierce that also debuffs Agility but Roll. So you have options, but it's just that as debuffer, there are better skills with other styles. You can just bring your Noel, that is a little harder to use than some other healers, but he still is reliable, because he can heal the party when he has enough BP, and that's a guarantee value. And we still have Mirza as the best healer in the game, that we all know. He gets his Silver Light, he becomes more reliable. You can just use his Silver Light Fangs, that heals as well. And you still have Polka. Those are the best options. And we should never forget about Muse, that although people keep saying that, well, Muse cannot heal and buff on the same time. Of course she can't. But if you want her to just be the healer, she can't. And she has Scroomguard. She's the only healer that can be just the healer that has Scroomguard. So for hard challenges, you have better options. But Emelia works because of Remembrance, and she also can be used if you really like the character. It's not really bad, but, well, in the end, I think that when you consider everything she has to offer, well, she deserves an SS Plus grade. She got pretty close to Triple S, but since we have other reliable characters on Triple S grade, I should not say that she deserves to be placed there. This was also the last version of Emelia on JP, so sadly there's no future as of now. The last character is Cordelia. Well, she has 110% STR, 85 endurance and 85 will, look a little old to me, and very weak dexterity with just 65. She can debuff, that's why she has 95 intelligence, and 91 agility is low for a debuffer in current game. She also has very low love, but that does not change much. Moving on, we have a defensive order. She will grant all surviving allies defensive stance skill medium. That will decrease damage from skill-based attacks by 25%. Lasts just for that turn, so you can keep reapplying. This is much similar to what you got with Tsubaki. Tsubaki is a more centered character, but she instead decreases damage from spells. You can think of this as something better than Scroomguard, but only if a boss is locked into using skills. If it uses half skills, half spells, it will be bad. Moving on, Resolve of the Might starts the fight with 11 BP and gets 5 BP per turn. Then we have High Protect Tension, increasing damage potential by 20, reducing damage taken by 30. Looks like an old style indeed, like something released 6 months ago, at least from what you can see from this. Then, first skill, Carrot Spear, is a full AoE attack that can debuff STR and Endurance by 15% on max level. Debuffing STR can be useful, but if buffing Endurance is really not important. Then the second one, Rising Party Cracker. It's a full AoE attack with B power and 7 BP cost. Well, she can actually use this 3 times in a row if you want, but she doesn't have enough power. Just 20% damage increase. Forget about this. If she is using it on farming, she needs help. Then the third one is Fierce Rabbit Pierce. This is a single target attack with 9 BP cost, where she will attack the enemy and cast one of the down medium, increasing damage taken by 25%. This lasts for 3 turns. Well, that's actually okay. Well, her cycle is to use Fierce Rabbit Pierce on start. This is just a single target attack, and then use an AoE attack that debuffs STR and Endurance. I don't really like this too much, to be honest, and I would prefer to inherit something besides. But having 25% decrease from defensive stance and 25% decrease from rally down medium is not totally bad. It's just that you are locking into using her own content where the enemies uses a skill only. Whereas you could just use Death. We're already talking about Death, and we have to talk about Death again, where we get 30% damage reduction, and then we get 25% damage reduction from Dark Barrier, alongside extra healing effects, an extra revive, and a character that is just much more defensive. So, sadly, Death is just making those characters look even worse. Now, if you want to talk about inheritance, the only skill that I can see being really useful here is from her first limited style that has Ontology. That's right, because this recovers her HP. It costs 4, so sometimes we actually want to use a normal attack instead of her skill number 1, because this one is 3. It's what makes her cycle perfect. But, well, if you need to be healed, that will work. But I don't think this character is too strong. It's just 2 defensive layers that you can find on Death, and if you didn't get Death, you can still get it. The banner is still active, so I really don't recommend pulling for Cordelia. Another style that just works by design, but it's nothing really important in the meta and will be replaced easily. So far, receives a plain SS grade in the tier list. Well, Cordelia has a future style. JP just got it on this Halloween, and she is a debuffer that also can buff, but only once, because it gives this refresh heal chain where she can attack, buff, recover HP and BP of random surviving allies. A little too gimmick for global though. I don't think she has a very good future, to be honest. Now back to the banner image. Is this banner worth summoning for? In my opinion, not as much, but it can still be good for some players. I will be giving this a Bronze Plus award, but we do have a very strong damage dealer here with Rocbouquet. If you fail it to get School Bertrand, she's the best pick, because she deals insane amounts of damage after she stacks, and I don't think she beats Bertrand. Bertrand is just very strong because of his defense capabilities as well, and he can even be used as a counter unit. But Rocbouquet comes close, and if you have her passive style, you are even increasing the utility of the passive style as well. If you are feeling like you need extra support for guns, well, Emelia is gonna help you as well, because this banner is better than the other Halloween banner. You can actually just use Emelia instead of Bunny or Professor, and she will actually be more than enough if you are using just for members, because sometimes when she doesn't trigger the effects, well, just restart the fight and one day you'll be able to clear. That's how Remembrance works. And then we have Cordelia, that helps people without access to Matriarch on Remembrance, because she actually decreases damage taken. That is very useful for new players. But overall, I just believe that we'll get stronger characters in the future, and I only recommend Rocbouquet for the foreseeable content, where Emelia will be easily replaced. Even with her gimmicks, it's not so easy to place a support unit that relies too much on RNG in hard challenges. But with all that said, this is my opinion. What is yours? Please say here in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you still haven't, and if you want to support the channel, there are links on the description of the video. I hope to see you soon in the next one. Bye.